Well, today, let's look at our writing for capital letters. And I want to teach you a way that I learn from other authors who aren't with me right now. I learn from their books and I study how they use capital letters or punctuation or words to learn things. So, we're going to look at one of my favorite books, Chrysanthemum. And I'm hoping that you might know that book. But if you don't, I put a read aloud of that book right in the blog post so you can listen to that book as well. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to read a couple of sentences from Chrysanthemum and see what the author did with capital letters. Here we go. Now look at this writer. So let me read it to you. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chudd that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. So I notice what Kevin Henkes did right here in this sentence to use capital letters. That's one step I do. My first step is to notice. So let's just notice for a minute, right? So I see this D in during, and I know that one. You start a sentence with a capital letter. So that's one you might be adding to your checklist. But then look, Victoria is capitalized, Mrs. Chudd is capitalized, and Chrysanthemum is capitalized. And what I notice right there is that these words are capitalized because they're names. These happen to be names of people, but people and animals, they get capitalized. And so that's so important. And I think about like, why did the writer do that? So I have these steps I do. So look at this. Here's my steps from learning from an author. What do I notice about, and we said capital letters, right? And then we say the author used, the author used capital letters because, so let's try that. The author used capital letters because, let's see, well, the during word, that was because it was the first word in the sentence. And Victoria and Mrs. Chudd and Chrysanthemum, those were capitalized. I think because names get capitalized. If they had said dog or pig or person or human, those wouldn't be capitalized. But because it's a specific name, they get capitalized. And then look at our next step. It's to try it. You can try it by rereading your writing and changing something in your writing, looking at your capital letters. Or you can try it by writing a new sentence and trying it, because we can learn from Kevin Henkes that it's important to also really put people's names in. Okay, so let's try it. I'm going to share my screen again. Let's try that. All right. So here's a sentence that I wrote. The dog ran after the cat. And you'll notice dog and cat are not capitalized because they're not specific. So I tried to change it. And look what I did. I changed it to my dog Hoppy, there's that capital H, ran after Mrs. Smith's cat. Do you see how there's capitals in Mrs. and Smith's? I did just what Kevin Henkes did. And then I tried it a new way. My dog Ranger ran after a black cat named Mocha. Do you see how my sentences are just so much stronger when I add characters' names than the people's names? So that's something you can try, writers. So what I did was I added it to my personal editing checklist. I put capitalized names and I even put Hoppy and Ranger there just to remind me with capital letters. So you can decide what to put on your personal editing checklist. Maybe you'll put capitalize the first letter of when you start a new sentence. Maybe you'll put capitalized names. I don't know, maybe you'll study titles and see how titles are capitalized. But I can't wait to see what you decide that you want to think about and edit